Okay guys, we have gotten so many new subscribers over the past week and I really haven't been uploading videos, so what that tells me is, that tells me that the videos that we have uploaded so far, y'all have really liked and y'all have really enjoyed, so I am definitely going to continue doing that. And for all the new subscribers to this channel that don't really know how we operate here, I want to just inform y'all that I understand a lot of other YouTube channels, a lot of other quote-unquote fantasy analysts, they get their feelings hurt when you go to the comment section, when you say some mean things, when you critique them, where I'm the exact opposite. I fully understand that a lot of y'all have a better grasp on fantasy baseball than I do, probably the majority of y'all, and your opinions mean a ton. So please guys, there's a reason that we are called the Fantasy Baseball Flock. It's that we are all in this together. We should all be working together. So if I say something that you disagree with, if I say something that sounds dumb to you, please do not hesitate to go down to the comment section, tell me that I am stupid, but more importantly, tell me why I'm stupid. That way I can learn from some potential mistakes. That way I can review some of the stuff that I am looking at and we can grow from there. But also a massive disclaimer, guys. Yes, I understand. These sample sizes are extremely small. I understand that we are looking at spring training sample sizes where we have about 20 innings pitched, and that's not going to be extremely correlated to 2021 real life fantasy success. So here, I pretty much just want to give you all a disclaimer. This is a video where we are just beginning to track how these players are performing in spring training. This does not mean everything. This does not mean that you should be avoiding these players in your fantasy drafts at all cost. It's just looking at a small box that we would prefer seeing these guys obviously come out and through their first 20 innings pitched through spring training have a decent amount of Ks, also be able to keep their whip very low. And if that's not happening, we don't necessarily have to drastically change our rankings right away, but we need to keep a small note of it. We need to make sure that we are going to be tracking it, because if it continues to happen, then that's when it becomes a problem. But anyway, let's get into this video, and our first pitcher that we are going to be talking about is going to be Zac Plussack, who right now has had a very tough spring training. And a quick rundown of Zac real quick. According to High Stakes Fantasy Drafts, he is the 27th pitcher off the board. He has an average draft position of 75 overall. So you're going to be looking at him right around that 7th round range. And he's only 26 years old, pitching for the Cleveland baseball team. And here with Zac, the problem is we know that we don't necessarily have a large sample to look at. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know that I really hate looking at 2020 statistics, because we know that year was so out of whack that it's going to be very hard to draw a lot from it. I prefer trying to find a larger sample. I prefer looking at 2019, where we've had a lot of these pitchers pitch 150, 160, 170 innings in normal circumstances, where here we don't even have that with Zac. In 2019, we have a sample size of him pitching 115 innings, and in this sample, it was disastrous. But I want to put the disclaimer out here that we have to remember he is currently 26 years old. So 2 years ago, this was his age 24 season. So of course he's going to develop from where he was in 2019. But in that season, with his 115 innings pitched, he had a whip sitting at 1.23 and a strikeout per inning ratio at 0.76. And obviously that's the concerning thing. The whip, we can kind of just go, you know what? He was young. He's going to get over it. He is going to lower that whip as he progresses and enters his prime. But the strikeouts per inning that low really makes us question, what is the overall upside that we are going to be expecting if we cannot rack up Ks at a very high rate? And right now in 2021, not only is he not really racking up Ks very often, but the whip is extremely high, where through 18 innings pitched, so yes, an extremely small sample, I understand. But we only have 17 total strikeouts. The ERA is up there at 7.0, and the whip is up there at 1.50. So here, I'll say that I don't necessarily want to be drastically avoiding him, but at the same time, we don't necessarily need to go all in. A player that we are looking at on the flip side of this, also someone that's entering his prime, is going to be Sandy Alcantra, who right now is actually being drafted a little bit later on and he's actually had a much more impressive 2021 spring training. And he's in a similar boat where we understand that we don't have a large sample of major success for him, but he is entering his prime, and we understand that this is a pitcher going to continue to develop. So where we can kind of use these spring training numbers is if you're kind of on the fence with these players and you're trying to go, okay, let's just try to evaluate this. Should we be going here with pitcher A or pitcher B? They look like they are neck and neck with the same profile. Might as well go to what they've been doing so far in 2021 and use that as a tiebreaker. All right, so now let's go to someone that I will say it's going to be a lot harder to run away from just because he's at the very top of drafts, and we understand that he is someone that a lot of people are excited about. This is going to be Walker Bueller for the Los Angeles Dodgers, where right now he has an ADP of 21 overall, and we've talked about this zone before, the late second, early third round. There are a lot of players that I'm kind of avoiding. There are a lot of guys that I'm not too excited about. We've talked about the hitters like Manny Machado, who's going in that range, Bryce Harper. Both of those guys have their own question marks. So I will say that I think what we are seeing here in fantasy baseball drafts is a significant drop-off from the beginning of the second round to the end of the second round. So we need to keep that in mind and understand that while Walker Bueller is a second-round pick, it's not like you're taking him 13th, 14th, 15th, overall, where you're also looking at players like Christian Yelich who have a stunning profile. But anyway, here with Walker Bueller, we understand that he's also 26 years old, just entering his prime. But the difference is he has a great 29 season that we can go to and we can look at for a large sample. In 2019, he pitched 182 innings. He had a whip down there at 1.04. Obviously, that's what we love to see. And here, the one thing that keeps him away from being an elite pitcher is the strikeouts per inning weren't necessarily up at that Max Scherzer range where you're expecting 1.3 to 1.4 in elite clip, where he actually has 1.18 strikeout per innings. But we also understand here with Walker Bueller, that was his age 24 season. He can still progress from there. He can still continue to develop his game. But we're looking at 2021 during spring training where he has been mainly disappointing. Through 17 innings pitched, his whip is up there at 1.64. Obviously, a number that we are not too excited about. His ERA is closing in close to 8, and his strikeouts are less strikeouts than innings pitched. So like I said, here, it's going to be hard to say that we can avoid him in drafts just because he's going in a range where I really don't like the other guys. So if he falls to the late second, possibly early third, because of his spring training performance, I think that's where you go out there and buy, because you look at that large sample that we had in 2019. Go, okay, he was 24 then. He's probably going to progress. He's playing on a very good team. I think that Walker Bueller is someone that you may target if people are starting to get worried about his spring training numbers. But like I said, I understand that's probably not going to happen. But this is going to be a situation that we need to continue to track. All right, so now let's go to our last pitcher that we are going to be talking about, and he is also down there. Probably you're going to be drafting him with your 9th, 10th round pick. This is going to be Zac Wheeler, who is the 34th pitcher off the board with his ADP, and he is right now in his prime. I mean, he's pitching for the Phillies, 30 years old, so not necessarily having to come out here and do some guesswork on if he's going to develop like we were talking about with the Zac Plussack at the beginning of the video. But here with Zac Wheeler, what we are going to be looking at is we are going to be looking at that 2019 season that we always do. And here, this is what we love to see. 195 innings pitched. A whip, yes, it's high. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It's up at 1.26. Strikeouts per inning at 1.0. But you like to see that he pitched 195 innings. You like to see that box of massive innings pitched checked, because we know that's going to raise his overall upside if he can hit that mark again. But it's been a disappointing 2021 spring training so far for him, where he's only pitched 16 innings, so obviously small sample. But his whip is up there at 1.50. His strikeouts is up there at 18, so at least he has more strikeouts so far than innings pitched, but it's still close to that 1.0 clip that we saw from 2019. So here with Zac Wheeler, I'll say that this is probably going to be a pitcher that you take for his high floor. You take for the fact that he is going to be giving you innings pitched. But based on what we've seen as of late, I don't think he has some insane ceiling to be able to rack up 1.30 strikeouts per inning like you were seeing with the pitchers going at the beginning of drafts. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, go down there, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment telling me why I'm stupid. Leave a comment telling me what I am doing wrong, because I appreciate it and I'm going to continue to work at it.